Hey guys, hopefully you can hear me. I lost my voice a couple days ago, so I'm just now getting it back. So I wanted to do this video on a few things that I have noticed that heating and air guys and folks in our trade hate. So if you've caught this video, the first one's kind of funny, and then the other two are maybe not so funny. They're still funny to me. I've been stepping on some toes with my YouTube channel and some of my videos, and I know that because I've gotten some messages from some other guys, people messaging me saying, hey, stop telling people this or that, or I disagree with you, or whatever, which is fine. I mean, you're allowed to have your own opinions and things like that. I base most of my information off of my own experiences. And when other heating and air companies or professionals say, I don't do that, then I think that's great. But with this particular video, I'm going to be calling it 3 things that heating and air guys hate that I have noticed in the industry. The first one is kind of funny to me, and that is some heating and air guys hate for other heating and air guys, and sometimes even customers, to use the wrong verbiage with some things. And what I mean by that is some guys call refrigerant in our trade, so it's called refrigerant. There's different types of refrigerant that go into your heating and air system, your air conditioning system, heat pump, and they will sometimes call it freon. And some guys seem to get a little frustrated by that. It's actually not called freon. We'll get customers call us all the time. They'll say, hey, my freon's a little low, or they'll even call it free zone. I've heard it called before. My free zone's getting kind of low. But it's not called freon. Freon is actually a brand. It's a brand. It's a product. It was created by DuPont, who actually owns the name, or at least used to. And it's actually a product. So freon is actually a brand name or a product that is also a refrigerant, right? So there's all kinds of refrigerants that are not freon, but then there's freon, which is just another refrigerant. So hopefully that makes sense. Another thing, I think I'm just going to throw this in here before I move on to the next thing that heating and air guys hate, and that is some guys that are plumbers, and even some guys that are heating and air guys that also do water heaters. They hate for you to call it a hot water heater. They can't stand it. They get irritated. In fact, I think it's so funny that I will sometimes call them hot water heaters just to irritate them. Why they get mad about it, I have no idea, but they do. Some of them get very irritated that they'll even correct you on the internet. They'll comment and things like that. So usually I'll comment just to mess with them and reiterate that it is a hot water heater. If you could think of another word or verbiage that some guys in our trade dislike or hate when people use it incorrectly, put it down in the comments. Some of those are actually kind of funny to me. I don't know why, but sometimes I like to just ruffle those guys' feathers. I'll use those terms anyway, just to mess with them. So what about number 2? Of the 3 things that heating and air guys hate, what is number 2? One of the things that I have heard lots of guys in our industry complain about, and I have no idea why they complain about it, but it seems like 2 out of every 3 guys that do what I do, the fix air conditioners or furnaces or even plumbers, they hate for the customer to look over their shoulder, if you will, to watch them while they work. Why they hate it, I have no idea. I like it. I think it creates rapport. I think it gives me the opportunity to get to know the customer, possibly win a customer for life, create a relationship, and I'll usually chat with them. But some heating and air guys, they hate for the customer to watch them, to watch over their shoulder. They feel like, they're being supervised or whatever. Sometimes customers will ask questions or even make suggestions. I mean, oh, by the way, it is their system, by the way. It's the homeowner's equipment. It's in their home. They own it. How horrible would it be for the homeowner to make a suggestion or to ask for something to be done to their own unit by someone that they're about to pay money to? But some guys, they just hate it. They hate for the customer to look over their shoulder, to watch them constantly, and so on. And then the third thing that we'll touch on that heating and air guys, technicians, professionals in our trade hate, and that is an informed customer. And if you're a heating and air guy and you see this, you might say, well, I don't. I don't mind if my customer's informed. And I think that's great, but a lot of heating and air guys hate for homeowners to have done a little research, to have asked a friend. In fact, I had a customer today say, hey, you know, I have a friend that's in the heating and air industry. He said this, this, and this, and that's not really lining up with what you guys put in my home. And I was able to explain to that customer, not necessarily that their friend is wrong, but the reason why we did it the way we did it. I think what that boiled down to is it was a mobile home furnace, and it had a coil and an outdoor heat pump that we installed. And I'm guessing that their friend is just not used to those types of systems. Some of the concerns that he was raising to the homeowner just wasn't lining up with what we're used to seeing and things like that, and why we do some of the things we do. So again, there's sometimes different schools of thought. It's not necessarily that anybody's doing anything wrong. It just boils down to sometimes there's more than one way to skin a cat. But some guys hate, some professionals hate for that homeowner to do some research, to read some stuff online, to ask a question and things like that, and they'll actually get irritated. You know, I had one guy that I employed a few years ago, and he would call me saying, oh, this customer's saying this or that, and I'm like, you know, who cares? If you're confident in what you know and what's right and wrong, who cares what somebody read on the internet? You know, you should be able to just say to that customer, hey, look, this is why we do what we do. This is why it's the right way to do it. And there are times where it's okay to say to the customer, hey, I hear you. If that's what you want, you're allowed to have that. I'm just not your guy. That's okay. And then finally, if you are in the market for a new heating and air system, if you're in the Middle Peninsula or Northern Neck of Virginia, give us a call, Griffin Air. We would love to earn your business. But if you're not in our coverage area, you're somewhere else in the country, and you are in the market for a new heating and air system, before you spend thousands, check out my new website. It's called newhvacguide.com. I'll put a link to it down in the comments. And this website, I basically wrote a book, made it a guide, put it on this website, and instead of having a book that would be outdated within a year or two, I'm able to constantly add things on there if new things come out. And the other thing is I've even put information on there that people in our industry don't even want you to know. So I've got a whole page called no-nos and, you know, just things to stay away from and so on. That being said, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.